I'm gonna answer each question before they get into it, so y'all know my standpoint as I'm saying whoop whoop. You feel me? Or my answer, my side of the answer type shit. But we really trying to create the bridge. We trying to bring them together type shit. Being your child's friend makes you a better. I gotta start looking at the camera too on some shit, cause I be looking over here and shit, cause this what the chat at right here. But check me out. I got y'all, man. Being your child's friend makes you a better parent. Yeah, it's to a degree. Essentially, in my perspective, being a parent is being multiple things. Being a protector, being a father. A father a father falls into a lot of things. Being a protector, a provider, a teacher, a a safe space. Um in my eyes, personally, I want to be your lawyer. I want to be your manager. I want to be your accountant. I want to be, and that's the same. Like for anybody I love, I want to be able to be whatever I need to be and what all I can be. Type shit. You feel me? So that's how I look at being anything in life. When it comes to me being a son, to me being a husband, to me being a father, to me being a business person, to me being a companion, a friend, a brother. You feel me? Type shit. So it's like, yeah, you gotta be a friend with your kid. You gotta be a teacher to your kid. You gotta be. It's all those things. So it's a in between answer type shit. But it's to a degree. So it's no at the same time, but it's yeah too type shit.
Makes
That's
you
my
a
answer.
better parent. Can they agree a step forward?
I think it really depends on how you describe friend, but I think it's okay to be, you don't have to be as stern with them all the time, right? You can mess with them, you can be more friendly with them, and I think as long as you don't cross that boundary, which is a very
It's to a degree.
abstract concept,
See,
right? That you
I'm right there with you, bro.
blow very quickly. I think it's okay to do that, and it puts you in a position where they're comfortable to come to you if something happens. And my daughter does do that, right? So I think it is good to have that bond with your child.
Yeah, I totally agree with all of that. Like, I think being a millennial, I actually grew up in the internet age, and I did all sorts of crazy stuff online, and I hid a lot of it because I kind of knew my parents wouldn't approve of it. Sorry, Mom. But I want to be able to have that open trust with my daughter, and empathy is really important.
That's real. And that's not even, like, that's the thing. That's some people, too. Like, it's some things that, like, probably not. Like, my video that I hit 1,000,000 views on YouTube. The video I hit 1,000,000 views on, that's not necessary as a grown man. Like, that's not a video I just want to just like happy like, yeah, I gotta be like, even me hitting 1,000,000 views, like that shit died off fast as fuck as I got older and older, because it's like the type of content it was just some young shit for real. And it's not like I want to hide that though from my kids. Like, yeah, that what I was doing at, you know, I was 18 years old. I was on YouTube hitting 1,000,000 views doing that. You feel me? So and then it's some other shit too. It's just like I'm ready to embrace the moment to where I'm sharing some of my life with my kids, so I could teach them from my mistakes and shit. So or give them examples at least. But a lot of parents be like afraid to like share things with their kids, and they and it was she was saying she want her kids to be able to like share those things with her and have that openness. You feel me? So it's like, yeah, saying facts though, say shit.
Me in the way that I raise my children. And so I think being a friend to them is important, but that doesn't mean that I'm not their mom still and I'm not holding those boundaries. I want them to be able to tell me their feelings and confide in me and tell me about the good and the bad. And so I think
let's see if we get any disagreeing,
because
because I know the one nigga on this motherfucker. That motherfucker, he was in this bitch, hella testosterone. No cap. Oh fuck, I gotta hit the mute.
their likes and dislikes, their feelings, and they can also tell me when they think that I did something wrong, and I can think about it and I'll apologize.
I think just for me, taking a look at my own friendships in my life, that parents having good friendships with their children, it creates the appropriate boundary of like what is and isn't allowed in friendships that we maintain like with our peers. Like you said, it is a matter of boundary, and like you can like have that empathy with her, and like the kinds of examples that like we set for our children are going to be like the kinds of people.
Wait, my fault, y'all.
Are coming from
Okay, 152.
children. I knew my parents wouldn't.
Millennial. Okay, Jackie is a millennial, and this nigga is a
You
Gen.
can mess with any abstract.
This nigga a
concepts,
Gen
right?
Z.
And you could
Friend to them is important, but that doesn't mean that I'm not their mom. When I understand where they're coming from, their likes and dislikes, their feelings, and they
Alright,
can
we
also
gotta
tell
tap
me when
in
they
to this
think
one
that I
lady.
did something wrong, and I can think about it and I'll apologize.
I think just for me, taking a look at my own friendships in my life, that parents having good friendships with their children, it creates the appropriate boundary of like what is and isn't allowed in friendships that we maintain like with our peers. Like you said, it is a matter of boundary, and like you can like have that empathy with her, and like the kinds of examples that like we set for our children are going to be like the kinds of people that they go seeking out, like when they go to school or when they go play with their friends or have their extracurriculars, or even just like waiting in line for something. Is like, is your child going to be the one to like make friends with like a girl who's playing or a boy who's playing by themselves? We establish those examples like for them.
Can I have the disagreeer step forward now?
Okay. She is small. She is small. I ain't had nothing to say.
Oh, please.
Eggland. Okay, this is what I was saying. I was talking about his ass with all the testosterone, but his ass just came up here with the. Look at his face, bro. Oh yeah, this video finna be some shit. I'm thinking it's gonna be a little smooth and shit. We finna get into some shit. This gonna be a decent little video, I could tell. His ass funny as fuck off the rip though. And look, and I'm already knowing his ass. Look at his ass. That boy clean too, boy. I ain't gonna lie. This fit look just like a fit. If y'all know J Rod, this look like some shit J Rod will wear. No cap. I don't know why I thought of that, but
I am not your little friend. I
He's
just
coming for me.
I just told- no,
I felt it as soon as he
I'm
walked
saying-
up here. He's looking at me.
Because
The
I
gaze.
literally just told my daughter this 2 days ago. I literally just told my daughter, I'm not one of your little friends. Like, when I say something, I expect
he a
you to respond.
black parent.
When I ask a question, there's an expectation of you to be honest and be forthcoming, right? And I do think
You don't want your
I don't
friends to
think
do that,
being
though?
Their friend at this stage is being a good parent. Now, I think it is being a good parent also means, yes, being loving, being joyful, and playing with them and creating a safe space and playing video games with them. Yes, but there is an absolute boundary. And I
it's
don't
to
even
a
have to say
degree.
it to my kids. It's a
It seems
look.
like everybody.
And when they see
I
that
ain't gonna
look,
go into
they
it
know,
too
okay,
much.
Let me chill out.
I ain't gonna go into it too much because everybody kind of in agreement for real. We just gotta see how the conversation and dialogue. If they get to going back and forth, I might jump on a bit of ass. No, I gotta talk to the camera. I'm gonna jump on a bit of ass. But if they in agreement, we gonna just let them, you know what I'm saying, vibe through it. Right now, then he said it's to a bound. It's a boundary for sure. Yeah, it's to a degree. You gotta be friends with to a degree. Because then sometimes you got to turn that friend shit off and be a teacher or be a discipliner as well. With you being the parent, you feel me? And discipline ain't always yelling or screaming. Or it shouldn't be yelling and screaming, or even probably got to even be physical. You just got to start working on that shit from baby stage. I don't know. I might have to get some whoopings, but I might not. I don't know yet. Hopefully he listen.
The more they probably will need me to be a friend. But as a parent, there's too much that I have to prepare them for.
Being a friend is being a peer. You're putting yourself on their level, right? So how could they look up to you as an authority figure?
Pause. Because, sometimes I be wanting to get direct definitions because everybody be wanting to say such and such to try to explain what one word mean. A person whom has a bond of mutual affection, trust, support, my fault. And support distinct from mere acquaintance. Nowhere about no peer, and it's nothing about y'all being on the same pedestal. It's someone who has a bond of mutual affection. You have affection for your kid. You trust your kid. You want to trust your kid at least and support your kid. And it's distinct from just mere acquaintance. It's more unique than just knowing somebody type shit. It's a friend. Come on now. People just be loving to throw definitions out. We gotta be for real though.
If you're saying that we are equal here, you have to set.
That's not saying we equal. You trying to make that shit make it seem like that. See, they getting more debative, and I already told y'all his ass the one with the testosterone. So I might have to get on his ass this whole video, but we gonna see it. I don't know what I'm saying. We gonna try to find the agreements. He has some agreements with his shit. We gonna see what bro talking about. But come on now, you can't just be adding your own little shit in this bit and then make the toilet bowl seem like it's good Kool-Aid or some shit. Nah, nigga, it ain't that. It ain't that, bro.
Do you remember rites of passages?
Oh yes, of course.
Okay, so that is something.
And his ass just gonna agree with his ass. Yo ass lost.
Today, there was the men of the community. Or
okay,
your
let's
family,
go.
Would not look at you as a man until you met the standard of their rites of passages. And then once they did, they looked at you as a peer. At that point, you were a man.
So I think emphasis on the word man, because that's why I believe in the traditional parent structure of the two-parent role. I know that not everybody gets to have that, but having a mother and a father is very important for the child's ability to develop friendships. I personally, I know that as a mom, you can set authority, you can be authoritative, but as a woman, you want to be able to have that empathy, have a soft heart, you don't want to be hardened. And my dad gives me the same look that you walked up here with.
And that wasn't towards you. I was actually looking at my daughter. I saw her face there. I envisioned.
And
it,
I'm both. I can be their friend and I can be the one that's holding that boundary. And I've always been the more hardcore principled. Not to say that my husband is not principled, but
and just to point out too, I think men should be able to have that soft spot for their kids too. And I think just like how the one she said it and the other woman, how women say they could be both authoritative, because that's the thing. I want my girl to also know what I'm saying. So when she go in the store with him and it's just my son and her, his ass ain't just acting a fool, getting all the snacks he want just because he know his mama gonna be the soft spot. Nah, nigga. Your mama finna be on your butt too. We, know what I'm saying, both be able to give him the discipline where he's growing up well behaved, and then we both have that soft spot for him, for he could come to both of us in need of just, know what I'm saying, being vulnerable. He got something real hectic, something happened bad, and he don't know who to go to, but he know he could go to his parents on some shit. Both of them on top of that, man, on me. But yeah, nigga, what? Men gotta have that soft spot for your kids too. And then especially a daughter. You have a daughter, and I don't got no daughter. I got a son right now, and I'm blessed I got a son right now. And when I get a daughter, if I get a daughter, you know what I'm saying, that's a blessing as well too.
think that comes with the gender role necessarily. I am soft and I can listen to them, but I can also be I understand you're still not getting the iPad. I understand you're still not XYZ.
I disagree, just because my mom was my friend when I was growing up and it was just me and my mom, but she wasn't a good friend. And it was she would take information from me and, oh, what are you guys gonna go do? Oh, we're gonna go to the movies by ourselves and just walk around the center and go shopping and do blah, blah, blah. And then when we would get home, it was a totally different thing. Be mad about something or give me your phone because why are you making these plans? And it was just what? I thought it was cool. I thought it was okay. When I got into high school, I went to a party and I got drunk. Well, the first time I came home, she laughed. She thought it was so funny and she helped me clean it up and whatever. I threw up all over the wall. And then the next time, she took my phone. She didn't talk to me for 4 months. I didn't have my phone the rest of my senior year. And it's you're trying to be my friend to get information out of me and to be cool about it in the first part. But when it finally makes you mad, it's you totally switch up. And it's that's not, you're not being a friend and you're not being a parent. I don't know. I experienced a friendship relationship with my mom and I absolutely hated it. I would have much more rather preferred if she were
See, and that's the thing. People thinking friend is just, ooh, goo goo gaga la 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 boo 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 blah blah blah. Nah. It ain't none of that, bro. A friend is, and that's why. All right, this is just my point. Boom, my perspective, bro. A friend is someone just like the definition we just pulled up on, bro, man. It's someone you could trust, support, and have mutual affection for. So if you got a friend that's fit that category, you got a person that fit that category, guess what? That person is supposed to also hold you accountable. Just like a parent. If I see my homeboy flagging for real, especially like in my mindset now, come on, bro, we should be doing better. So I really just be around the people that be on the same type of time and type shit. So when it comes to your parent, a parent is in your life to be in your life. So when I be your friend, son, I'm holding you accountable as your father, but as your friend too, cause we, you know what I'm saying? Tight shit. We mutual affection, trust, and support. You feel me?
Like my dad just on me, you know, made sure that I did what I had to do and not really like try to be my friend.
How old was your mom when she had you?
38.
I had a buddy whose mom was his friend, like just how you're describing how your mom was. You know, she didn't care what he did. You know, she was just there to connect with him. She didn't care if he went out and smoked weed or drank with his friends. Her worries weren't there. She just wanted a relationship with her kid. And I'm like, maybe that's why he didn't turn out the best. I turned out really well because my parents, you know, they connected with me emotionally and met all my needs, but they also weren't my friend. They were my authority and my wisdom.
This morning, I was at the gym with my dad, and
Come on, that's dope.
yeah, my dad's 60-something years old,
That's
and
great.
I'm pushing him, making him try to bench 315 as I'm benching 315, okay? And we work out together every day. That's our thing that we do. We see each other in the gym.
That's
we're
fire.
When I walk out of that gym, he's still dad, okay? Like, but there's moments as you mature and as you as your kids grow up, you could have that. You're not so much a parent. You're letting them live their life and letting them. You're just guiding them more, giving them, hey, I wouldn't do that, but hey, do you? Like you have that relationship because you see them differently.
As we transition into adulthood, like I look at like the kind of company I keep, and like that really has, I've changed my opinions on what kind of company I want to keep, and the kind of person, the parent and person
She
we
finna
are
get
to our
there.
children.
She finna get there.
And it's really going to mold that in them. Like, so we have to just be really mindful of the way that we interact with our kids 100%. And that's what I'm hearing from you guys. So I'm going to obviously keep that in mind.
Parents should not
I take it very
Oh
seriously.
fuck! What the fuck? Oh fuck! That bitch skipped all the way up
In
there.
mind.
Parents should not post pictures of their children online without their consent. Can the agree or step forward?
That's so valid. I'm like, who's finna argue this? Cause I mean, how can a 3-year-old, a 1-year-old give consent? That was a crazy question. Yeah, that was crazy. What the fuck? Oh
So
shit.
you're agreeing that parents should not post pictures, right?
I agree with like part of that. So I have a TikTok following and like I have posted my kids previously in the past, but I noticed that my favorite content creators, they don't post their kids and they'll hide their children's faces, and it kind of brought up like a little light bulb in my head, and I'm just thinking to myself, why? And then it made my mind go over to
She
Diddy
coming up too.
and the Epstein files and all of these things that wouldn't have crossed my mind before, but now that I know how sick people's minds can be, and or all of the access that we have with AI,
All the females coming up now. All the females coming up now. They change their mind quicker than a mug. Oh my gosh. Just a little talk. It's easy to change a woman's mind. I ain't even trying to be that type of nigga, but this proof in the pudding right here. It's easy to change a woman's mind. Because emotions, all you got to do is tweak them emotions. Like, even as a content creator, someone as like a public figure, the president and shit, the way you able to touch people's emotions are the way you could get them more engaged, more interactive with what you got going on, what you got to say, what you got to show, what you displaying. And women are more emotional than men typically, so they, you know what I'm saying, tend to, you know what I'm saying, you can change their mind faster. Look, it just showed, man.
you can create anything with any image. And you can
She
make
got a
anything
point,
like
but the
anything.
men ain't gonna change their mind because you gotta
I
be the
couldn't imagine my
protector
son or
anyway,
somebody, or
either
even
way or
myself
what.
or
Like,
anybody seeing
that's why I'm
mine.
like, you gotta be on beat in general because you never know what. This is a crazy world. First of all, it's like shit can happen anytime. So it's like you gotta You know what I'm saying? I be trying to let my girl know, like, be on beat 24/7. P's and Q's, baby girl. No cap. Things gonna happen. So you just gotta make sure that you on beat with whatever you gotta be on beat about type shit. But she got a point. But that shit could happen with or without. You take a picture on your phone, guess what? Big could get in your phone, get pictures and information all the time. You get all your personal information when you create apps and shit. You gotta follow. Come on now, you know people could. If you gotta follow, somebody definitely could hack you. The more bigger you is, probably the easier it is to hack.
And then finding out that some dark, nasty stuff was happening and we didn't even know about it just because I posted a silly little video of my son playing basketball. I used to be okay with posting my kids online, but now I'm more so like, I'm pumping the brakes a little bit.
Yeah, I initially disagreed because, you know, I was thinking in the absolutes, right? Like, I'm like you used to have, on my end, I wasn't like public or anything, but I used to have a private account that my friends and family could look at. And I just got to the point where I started seeing more stories like this, more influencers and other people on TikTok, and noticing like how many views any gymnastics videos gets, which is crazy. Favorites. I just don't feel that there's enough reason for me to post that, and like, what's the upside of it, basically? You know, like, am I getting gratification for it because I'm getting likes from my friends? I text my friends pictures, or if I'm on a call with someone or I'm in person with someone, I'll show them on my phone. With that said, it's kind of interesting because my daughter just booked a role in a short film, and so her public presence is going to be out there. But I think even though they can't technically consent, I think consent is important. And I think me being really aware of how exactly she's going to be portrayed out there online versus like, here's a silly picture of her doing something embarrassing. Like, it's her playing a character versus her life being put out there.
Like, kind of to like piggyback a little bit off of what you said, like the content you choose to post, kind of like some of the mukbangs that, like, why is a child holding up a burrito with their mouth wide open? Like, girl, we know what you're doing, and you're getting a check from it, and that's not okay.
I disagreed at first because I think that in the climate
Your
of
ass
this
tweaking
world,
now,
like,
girl.
we have to protect,
I don't know
like,
what
our
your
daughters and our
algorithm. She be
sons,
on
like,
Twitter,
from
man.
everything,
Her
because
ass
I
be
grew
on
up
Twitter.
in the world of like cell phones and technology.
Come on, who this is? Jubilee? Jubilee, you getting the Twitter females now.
There was iPhones by the time I was in middle school. Like, that's what kids were asking for their birthdays. And like, there is things like on the internet that like children that I know, like,
She
even
Gen
myself
Z,
have,
so
like,
she
put
might
up
be a
there that,
couple
like, you
years
can
older
never
than
take
me,
down.
maybe.
What you put on the internet, like, it lasts forever. And like, mind you, like, I think context is important. I don't have like a large social media following, and I mean, I've posted pictures of like my family for our Christmas card, to share those photos, or like, I've posted some milestones of my baby. Like, I do try to always be mindful though of keeping my baby fully clothed on all social media platforms, like, just because
done
like,
came
you
up.
never know.
When I started having kids, we just wanted to share these gifts because it was actually hard for us to have kids. We had 3 miscarriages before we had the children, and so we had a community.
He said, I had to go tell my story.
Journey of becoming parents.
That's so beautiful.
And thank you. And I do have a pretty big social media following.
Okay.
But as my kids have gotten older, they have said, "Hey, Dad, don't post that photo of me. Hey, Dad or Mom, hey, don't put that up." And at that moment, I have a responsibility to respect their wishes. As our children do age, as they do get older, that we do need to, that there is a place where we do need to protect their wishes or how they want to present themselves. But I also do have a right to share information or photos as I see fit as the parent.
Yeah, and ultimately they will be protected because you're their father and you do everything to protect your children. So like, I think like, too, context is so important. Like, the context in which we choose to share.
She's
important. And like,
gonna be middle ground the whole time. She gonna be trying to just like find the agreements. I can see what type of time she on.
Up there. Okay, like, that's amazing that you can give your kids that respect. Like, I know my parents would try to justify, like, I want to do this, I want to do that. And like, I think telling your kids like, you're beautiful the way that you are, like, I want to share this with our family, that's different than being like, oh, I don't care how you feel. So context is everything.
I think it's the equivalent of what that, parents that used to do back in the day, bring out their wallet with all the family
Oh my
photos.
God.
Right.
Like, it's the equivalent. Social media is the same. I think is the same kind of
A good
and so there is
that's a
space
good
for
like
discretion
metaphor
for
correlation
sure.
or so.
Statistics prove that
What's
children
up? What's
are more
up? Chilling, watching this middle ground.
people who are family members versus the guy selling stuff at the park or in inappropriate spaces. So
that's why I stopped posting, because I was like, I want to trust my 125 friends and family or whatever, but you just never know. Or like, do they have people logging into their stuff?
I agree with what you were saying. When the kids are younger, right, it's up to you to protect them and see what's fit for posting. So like when my kids are younger, and I have a cute little picture of them.
It's smooth.
I don't see a problem.
This a great video. It's a great video right here.
I'm with posting it to the world, you know, and I don't post pictures of them that they'd be embarrassed by later on in life. Just wholesome stuff. Me and my wife do social media. We're pretty big on there. I take it very seriously. My daughter, who's 3, she's getting older now, and there's been videos that she just doesn't want to do, and she's told us, and we're like, okay, you don't have to.
Fort Myers,
And
Florida,
we do
239
pay our
Little
kids, not in
Pakistan.
cash, but
Dang, 3-year-old saying I don't want to do this? Well, I mean, yeah, cause Junior sometimes he don't be want to do some stuff. He like, I want to do this.
candy, toys. They get, you know, they'll get a brand deal, like a TikTok shop brand deal, and they'll get a brand new toy. Their reward for doing the video is that toy. So that they're
Appreciate the follow. Appreciate the follow.
They don't do the video. You know,
Appreciate the
also,
follow.
In a way, doing it that way, it's teaching them work ethic. Like it's more of a basically they don't have to do it if they don't want to, and we don't post anything that would be embarrassing for them.
Do you think that there's an element of my parents want to do this, so I want to please them though? Like, are they really able to at like that age express their wants? And I say this because like I listened to Jeanette McCurdy's memoir. I'm glad my mom died. I don't know if you guys have heard
I was
of it.
just thinking of her.
Yeah, but like she talked about how as a child actor, her mom was so like she learned to act by acting toward her mom because she knew her mom's moods or whatever. Not saying that about y'all. Like,
Just for reference, she's the blonde girl from iCarly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so she was like a Nickelodeon star,
Where
super
are you
famous
from?
and successful for a child, but she
Where you from, bro?
so that her mom would be happy and to please her mom, right? And she learned really quickly how temperamental.
Yeah,
her
that's
mom
the
would be.
goal.
Or just like even
Affiliate.
if you're, really genuinely invested in your child's success, like as a child, you want to see your parents happy. You want to get that like, oh, I did something to make them proud. So I think there's something
Virginia,
interesting about,
tight. That's what's up.
this idea
Fort
of
Myers,
consent
Florida.
at a younger age, and it's funny.
That's where I'm
because
from.
My daughter keeps being like, "Can you post that?" And I'm like, "Post that to where? What are you even talking about?"
I
But she's like, "Can we make a YouTube video? Can we do this?" And I'm like, "It's actually my responsibility to be like, you don't have the context, you don't understand what that's gonna do. It looks really fun, but like, I have to say no and explain why actually."
I think that brings us into the topic too of exploitation. Like,
Yeah, Fort Myers, it's smooth. It's smooth. It ain't bad.
Are we doing it for like our child's reward, or are we doing it for our reward and our gain ultimately? Like, I'm not saying that anything that you're doing is wrong. I'm saying like it's an.
And how does that go?
Like, when we are sitting there posting things of our children, are we posting it to share the joy and the blessings of having a family, or are we doing it to specifically gain something from the world? And when we're like looking at the world and we're like picking and choosing what we want from here, what we want from there, like you're not just taking something, you're opening yourself
And
up,
how do you
and
do
you're
that?
opening your family up.
What do
to,
you
like,
do
the gaze
exactly?
of hundreds of millions of people.
You ask your 2-year-old, "Hey, Timmy, yeah," it just kind of seems silly, right? Like like you're asking for their consent. You are the parent. You have the consent.
Yeah.
Now it's your position is to determine whether or not you putting this image out there is
I think I'm agreeing with him on this go round though.
beneficial for your child. Safety and security. The consent thing, like Google Gaga, yeah. Like I mean, like it seems kind of weird.
How old
But
are
yeah.
your kids?
My kids are adults.
Okay, so I think that that's where the disconnect is because a lot of our kids are way younger. And when your kids were super young, like my kids' age or their kids' age, whatever, they literally had to go outside and play in the grass and play in the dirt and play in the mud and go make up games and do all these things.
My
But
kids are
now,
not that old, okay? Like, I mean.
right, but I'm 30, and I remember when I was growing
My
up.
kids are 18 and in the 20s, okay? Like,
Okay.
so, like, I mean, they had technology, they had iPads, they had everything that you guys had.
I'm not saying that they didn't, but what I am saying is that it's not the same. It's not the same. You didn't just have to jump on TikTok and post a picture. You don't know who's seen that picture. You didn't have Instagram. There was no Instagram. There was
Instagram.
Okay, when your kid was how old, and was it viral to where like
Instagram
it
was
is on
around
TikTok
before
now?
my kid was even born, so.
Okay, is it viral to where it is like on TikTok now to if you post anything
it was
of your
viral
child?
then.
I do gotta
It's the
say,
same
Instagram
principle.
was way more toxic back then.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, Instagram was the number one dating app.
There are people who will literally send me death threats on Instagram because I'm a single mother. You're gonna tell me that it was more hostile back then than it is now?
I was seeing people die on
Yeah, I
Instagram.
saw live
mean,
I still
live
see
leak was
people dying on
everywhere.
Instagram today, but that
Yeah, but,
doesn't
like,
matter.
what
We're
year are
talking
we
about
talking
children.
about?
Pause. Let's everybody take a deep breath. And we just encourage one person talk at a time. We want to hear from everyone.
The reason why I didn't step forward is because I had a lot of mixed emotions.
That bitch
I
got
agree with
toxic,
what he
boy.
is saying. I also agree with what everybody is saying. It is funny, like he's saying, asking my child, like, hey, can I post you for your birthday picture? Like, I'm just gonna post it so your grandma and them can see it. But I don't post them all the time though. I only post them for like birthdays, if we're out, family trip, whatever. But other than that, you won't see them on there because people are weird.
You could limit who has access to the photos or anything that you
Mhm.
post.
Yeah.
Like you could put it in a private group into where it's just family, right? Or close friends. You don't have to put them on the public out there, pictures. Like you will never see any of my kids on my platform or any of my stuff. Why? Because I don't want my children to have to deal with the heat that comes with me being their father, right? Because I say controversial things. I upset people, so I don't need them to have to deal with the backlash of the things that come out of my mouth, right? So I understand that and I respect that.
There's a fine line. You know what I mean? Like, it's up to you when your kids are younger, what's appropriate to post.
That's real, though.
You keep them away from
Cause I post my son.
your social media, which might be good for me. My social media is built around family, and I think there's a lot of toxic crap online, and there needs to be more wholesome stuff. So
See, the thing with me, bro, is I believe whether you hide them or you don't hide them, if a bitch want to get to, if something gonna happen, something gonna happen. You just gotta, like, people be so, I think so many people be so blind to how hectic this world really is. Like, how much slimy shit actually happen. And not just in the hood, not just in a country town, literally anywhere. In the city, in a rural area, in a small town. This shit happen anywhere. And that's why you see so many movies that's why, like, it's a lot of thriller movies out now. That genre is popping out of nowhere for some reason. And it's the reason because that's what's happening in life. And I don't know if they trying to promote that bit so more shit happen like that or what. But a lot of shit happening like that. Like, look what happened with CK. Like, that shit was crazy. That shit was like some movie shit. But the shit my whole point is shit can happen all the time, and people act like this shit don't, or people just blind to the fact that this shit just can happen all the time, and boom, guess what? You feel me? So it's like I'm aware of this shit, so I'm just trying to prepare. But you know what I'm saying? I'm not even, you know what I'm saying, I'm not in fear of that because I'm not gonna manifest any of that shit or nothing like that. But you feel me? Bitches gotta be on beat. That's all I'm saying. Awareness.
Content. There's no damage, to my children, and that's why I walked over here and agreed partly with kids should have consent when they get older, and if they don't want it online anymore, I will remove it. Or if they don't want to do a video, I won't make them.
I feel like by then it's too late.
I think the consensus here is it's a very big gray area, right? I think we agree that someone posting online exploiting their kid when they're making fun of them, they're crying, things like that, I think that's unacceptable, right? Sure. And I personally would never do that. When you see influencers doing that, yeah, okay, that is wrong. But it's, going to the park with my daughter, she's at a family event and all of our family's right there. I think, I'm gonna post that photo, right? And you can make it private on a private story. There's a lot you can do to limit it. I don't think you should ever post your child in a vulnerable situation. Like, let's say they're in the bath, or let's say they're
I feel that. Okay, I agree with vulnerability. See, that's a middle ground.
It's, pretty common sense to not do that.
Can I dig into that a little bit?
That's disgusting.
Because I think there's something interesting about, like, I think we all agree we should not post our kid naked, right? Nobody here would do that, I hope. We shouldn't post our kid being really upset or like, and there's a scale for sure. But it's interesting to be like, oh, if I post my kid naked, it might be more likely that somebody will want to do something weird with that photo, right? But if someone really has ill intent, what's the difference between a naked photo and like a regular photo?
Hopefully the platform would not let you post.
I mean, yeah, but we can't trust the
limited
corporations to do that.
a long time ago.
We can't trust these tech companies for anything.
It's true. I mean, there's gonna be weirdos everywhere, though, unfortunately.
For sure.
And there's gonna be a weirdo when my daughter's 14 years old, when she's 18, when she's 6,
When
5,
she's
4,
one, when
whenever.
she's
This is where
two.
discernment comes in, though. The same thing, it comes when they get old enough to where they start posting things. I had to tell my son, hey, take that off your stuff. I don't want that on there. Remove that. That's inappropriate. And he had to do it. Or he didn't have a phone. It's great, because I'm the parent.
Yep.
So it's like you have to keep them from at
Real.
times even
That's real.
doing things that they want to do that they think is cool or trendy. But
No,
it's
I
actually
can't.
detrimental
I'm
for
reacting
them
right now.
later on, and they're not
I'll
gonna
get to
see it
that
in the
another
moment.
time.
You have to have the discernment and
Respectfully.
foresight to be able to get that, to stop that ahead of time.
My wife and I
I
we'll
agree
go
with
through
him
our
right
kids'
here.
phones, and our kids are younger, and I didn't think they needed a phone when they got it, but now they do have them. So we're going through their phone and we're seeing these TikTok challenges that they're recording. Now they don't have access to those platforms because we won't allow them to, but their friends do. So I'm
They're
looking at
sending
these
them.
videos, and I have a 7-year-old, a 9-year-old, who just for the first time had a fight video in his phone. And it was 9 and 10-year-olds fighting at an event that I let them go to with a friend. And I'm sitting and I looked at him like, yo, why get this out of your phone? And I deleted it. And I had to explain to him why. So yes, I do have a responsibility of not posting certain things, but I'm having to realize even more now, I have to control what my kids want to post. And even when they don't understand why I won't allow them to post it, or why I won't allow them
For
to
sure.
have TikTok, why they don't
Appreciate the
have Instagram,
waiting.
why they can't even watch YouTube during the week. Like that's
Yes.
it's a
Yeah.
thing.
Yes.
One last thing, I think, like to your point, Nikki, the technology these days, it's not just about what our kids. It's not like you go to a bulletin board and you post it, and it's like, okay, you get to kind of control someone's gonna see it or whatever, right? Like the technology is so crazy out there, and I don't even know the full extent of it, but like people can scrape the internet for millions of photos in a day, right? You couldn't do that in 2010 when Instagram was first starting out. People had, maybe you could, but like that was like some dark web crazy stuff. It's so ubiquitous now to be able to use technology in a really nefarious way to influence people, to push crazy content, like make AI content to push to our children on YouTube, to like do all these things. And so for me, the question was really about, should I post pictures of my child full stop? Like their consent, they can't consent at that age because their prefrontal cortex is not developed yet, right?
Bro, her
And
ass
I
is
totally understand
ranting
what you're
now,
saying about
bro.
like me as the parent having responsibility. I own that fully. Me as a parent, I have to really think about what is out there in the world,
Her ass
not to be a
ranting.
fear monger, but like what's the risk versus reward of me posting this picture online, and like what are the potential damages it can do?
Random question. When your kid asked for their first email account, did you feel
That's what
really
she
scared about it?
put.
Yes.
She
I thought it was
projected
gonna
it
be so
though.
simple, but
She projected it. She a fear monger. It's harder. This is the next one. I had to skip that ad. It's harder to raise kids today than it was for previous generations. My answer is I really don't know because I wasn't raising no kid in a previous generation. Well, now we got the internet. Now we things are more accessible in many measures. There's a more opportunity to different things. You got access to information more. There's different activities and stuff that you could do that you couldn't do back in the day. So I would say it's easier now because of the new access and stuff. But it's hard. The hard don't change. It's hard either way. It just the type of hard. It's just a different type of hard, but it's both hard.
than it was
Pause.
for previous
Big
generations.
pause. But I wonder what they gonna say. They gonna probably go
I
back
do
and forth
believe
and
it's
shit.
harder now than it was back then because there's no sense of village now. I believe back then it was, so that's why.
That's a great point, though. That's a great point. That's a great point. That's a great way to attack. That's a great way to attack, boy. But then that's based on that's subjective. That's a great point, and then she could go to her specific because it's increasing where, you know what I'm saying, family structures aren't like how they were back in the day, though. That's like you could go into statistics and stuff. I just don't know too much about that. But it's subjective, but you could that's a great point. That's what I mean by that. You might could get somewhere with that as an argument. That's a good point. And I'm already knowing it's subjective though.
I stand by that.
I grew up in the South, and so I grew up in this close kind of village, and the parenting definitely was more of authoritative. do what I say do, not as I do oftentimes. And so it's harder now as well because
Facts.
our kids are being raised as global citizens. They have access to information, to power, to people that I would never even imagine.
That's real.
I remember growing up, we were riding bikes, we were drinking out water hoses, and yes, there were issues, but nowhere near what it is today.
Yeah.
And so I think with access to internet and communication systems that adults are having a hard time navigating, that we're putting in an iPad in front of our kids at 3 and 4 years old, makes it a lot more difficult to raise kids now than before.
I think it's harder.
Making it more difficult. Don't give it to your kid then. What the fuck? But I don't get that shit though. I ain't gonna lie. Don't give it to
When you
your
look
damn
at the
kid.
boomers, for example, things were a lot cheaper, right? You could raise a family on a single income, right? You can have a mother or a father who stayed home.
Economically, I could get. That's another good point you could take it from. But let's see.
And someone who goes to work. Me and my ex-wife, we both had to work, right? I mean, we were young when we had our child, barely meeting ends meet for whether it be groceries and other things. And right now with everything skyrocketing in price, I mean, it's just a very difficult time. You can't buy a house till you're around 40 years old at this point. Interest rates are through the roof, and I think...
Oh, yeah, he hitting them attack points. He's going. That's good. You'll have to... I wonder what the other people gonna argue now. Because he's hitting them attack points. She hit a good, solid point, too. I wonder what the other side gonna say. Is it gonna get debative?
It's just extremely hard for both millennials and Gen Z just to even break into this market, which is truly unfortunate. But I think that's why it's harder for us right now.
Uh-oh, her ass stay
So
flip-flop.
initially when the question was
Her
asked,
ass stay flip-flopping, bro. She finna get me mad, bro. I ain't gonna
my
lie.
first thought went to like school shootings and like all like just online and like everything.
See, she's social medially answering this shit. Social medially answering these motherfuckers. I made up a new word. Cause her ass just answering everything from social media headlines. All her answers to my school shootings and stuff from back in the day, like she thinking of the worst things from back in the day, then trying to compare it to the worst things now, and then that's what oh my god, that's that propaganda type shit, bro. That shit is annoying.
That our kids gonna get hurt by. But I'm a single mother. I have 2 boys. They're 3 and 4 years old, and I had them when I was 25. We immediately went into homelessness, so I definitely don't have a village. So what you said about like raising kids with a village and how it's like, it's not how it was. Like I was raised by my grandma and my Nina. Like they raised me. My mom wasn't around and my dad was working all the time.
See? Touch them emotions. That's what made her switch. That's what made her switch though. That's what made her switch.
And so I think that a lot of my mental like stress and anxiety, it comes from not having a village. It comes from me not getting a break. It comes from me being super burnt out and tired all the time. And if I would just be able to drop them off somewhere sometimes, it would probably be a little bit easier for me. And yeah, so I think that I agree.
The crazy thing, the bigger the world gets, the less community I notice there is. Like I remember being raised with my cousins. I remember being raised with, family functions. And
That's
now,
real though, bro. That's real though.
I'm looking at, my wife is Latina and I'm African American, and they have cousins, they have people, but they do not know their cousins. They do not know their family. They have access to the world. I see my kids playing, video games with their friends in different places. But, for family gatherings, it doesn't exist anymore,
One thing I wanted to add, which is interesting,
But that's because families just been separating and
really
separating
lucky
shit,
to kind of have
growing
that village.
apart.
Like my mom and my husband's mom and our family are all kind of local within, an hour, a couple hours drive. But I still feel that, like, I think, especially with my friends and my peers, a lot of us moved away because they couldn't afford to live in the Bay Area where I'm from, right? So now we're all over the place, and the only way we really get in touch is through social media. And I think that is such a big part of why I answered this way, is because I feel like the expectations these days are actually much higher for parenting in general, for both men and women, or anybody, any type of parent. Should I sleep train? Should I not sleep train? Like, there's so much information out there that like you have to overanalyze everything, whereas before you were just like, oh, my mom said this.
See, her ass she got anxiety or some shit. That's what it is. Her ass just be oh my god. That's what I could see her ass right now, like in her house pacing and shit, just trying, like she got anxiety or some shit, bro.
Put whiskey on a like towel, and then yeah, right.
Can we say that out loud?
I mean, that's what they. I didn't do it, but that's what they did, supposedly.
3 of them.
No, I agree with literally everything you guys said. Like, those are definitely new challenges that we're all facing. At the same time, I do think we have it a lot easier than previous generations because we have the hive mind in our pocket. Literally all the information that we'd ever need is in our pocket. Any resource, we can just look it up. For example, one of the biggest problems people in our past had was schooling. You couldn't move out into the middle of nowhere because you couldn't go to a good school. Now you can go to a good school right from your computer. People don't understand is that housing is expensive, but if you move out into the middle of nowhere, it's not so expensive.
How old are your kids?
They are 3, 2, and 1.
Okay.
And I'm
3, 2, 1. That low key go hard. 3, 2, 1. Get your ass in here. That low key go hard. Okay. Her ass up. She finna annoy me. I bet I'm about to have to get on her ass.
I'm a stay-at-home dad.
No, that's hard.
That's another thing. Nowadays, our parents couldn't work from home, and husbands were going off to wars, but the world is a lot more of a peaceful place nowadays. There's a lot of wars going on for sure, but not like the past. You know.
Her little flip-floppy ass ain't say nothing though.
It's funny. I see. Yeah, knock on wood.
Look,
Right?
his
Housing has
testosterone
been an
boiling.
issue forever, right? Like stagnant wages have always plagued, families. It's always been, the housing cost is just barely above or below like the cost you make. Families have always had to financially find a way to navigate that. It's just different ways that the problems are presenting itself.
I wanted to say that the
facts.
traditional structure of family has been really warped. It's really hard to create the American dream in our modern world. We have access to technology, but there's polarities to everything. So yes, technology is super accessible, but there's also a lot of information on there that my parents and my grandparents didn't have. Or the housing, it's really difficult to find a home and plant roots. But there is the polarity of finding other family members who, creating your village. Sometimes we don't just get a built-in village. I come from a family of immigrants who, I'm first generation American, so my family came here and made their roots. Both my parents worked full time, my grandparents and parents, we're all a very tight-knit family, but we make it that way. I think that we have to create the village that we're looking for because I even noticed after having my child that it wasn't immediately handed to me. I didn't have a parent there helping me take care of my baby on those nights where me and my husband weren't sleeping, where he had to stay home from work, but then he had to go back because we can't live off of no income. I retired full-time from my job so that I could be a stay-at-home mom, and that is a blessing and a gift, but it is a sacrifice. You have to sacrifice the things that you want to provide the life that you want for your child. So
That's real.
It is
She just
easier
preached.
in ways because we have so much
Clock
information
it.
and support. There's definitely still challenges, but there's Facebook groups, there's TikTok, there's Instagram. You can go online and find a million other
She
women
snapped.
going through exactly, or men who are going through almost exactly what you're going through. So that's why I disagreed.
So what do you say that your village is? What does your village look like to you?
I would say mainly it's my husband and I. I have my grandparents who are still earthside, and I'm so grateful to have them. My parents don't live at home. They're empty nesters and living their best life. I have all those people in a close network. So I maintain those connections. I have to call and reach out. I don't always have they're not down my throat. Hey, what are you doing, kid? I'm an adult to them now. I have my own family. It's not they raised me, they did their job. That's pretty much my village.
Because I know what it's like to literally not have a single person to help you. My dad will help me if I need things financially, but he works all day, so he doesn't have the access to just, hey dad, I need you to come pick up my kids from school. Can you do? No, I'm working. He will help me financially if I need those things, but I don't need that. I need mental clarity. I could go online, I could go on TikTok, I could go on Facebook, but what is that gonna do to me? You're not gonna come over here and wipe my kid's booty. My kids still need to take a shower. They still need their clothes washed. I still gotta make a lunch tomorrow. I gotta be up at 6:30 in the morning. And then after I drop them off, I gotta go work from home. And then they call me from school. I gotta go pick them up. I don't have nobody that I could just tag in. And I can't do that on a Facebook group or on TikTok. I've made a community on TikTok. is blasted. Single mother. I am a single mom all over my TikTok, and I've made a community of single mothers. That still doesn't help me though. When you said about like making a village online, it's nice to have them to talk to them and be able to share experiences with people, but I mean, if I'm still crying and you're crying and now we're on FaceTime, we're all crying and we all got the same problem.
Yeah, it feels
like,
worse sometimes. You're like, shoot, I've been like pulled down.
Like, well, you know what? Never mind.
When I think of village, I think of like an intimate setting. I don't think you can get that with people that you just met online. I feel like, you know, back in the day, it was like grandmas, uncles, everybody's coming together. That's an intimate setting, and you're also around a lot of wisdom. So if you're in groups like she's saying and everybody's literally doing the same things, you're not learning from each other. You're not really growing. You're just kind of
talk, girl. Talk now. Talk, sister.
Trauma bonding.
Talk, sister.
And it's just you. It's not even your kids, right? Because I think back in the day when we think of a village, it's like the kids are all running around with each other. They're interacting and learning how to interact with other people. Like it's a learning experience in itself to be like, how do I play with someone else? How do I respect my elders? How do I do X, Y, Z?
Yes.
But if it's just me on TikTok,
I'm curious, like, y'all not live next to neighbors with kids?
I was just thinking that, like,
I think
no neighbors.
Once you get to school age, I think it becomes a lot easier, personally. But like when I was 1 to 3, 1 to 5, it was really hard to find parent friends for me.
If you shield your child from hardship, you're hurting their future.
Wait, my fault, y'all. If you shield your child from hardship, you're hurting their future. Oh yeah, I agree for sure. I definitely agree. Everybody coming. Oh, she the only one. I wonder what she gonna say.
This is a good one.
If you don't tell your kid what's going on, what's really going on with the world, they might give them the wrong tools or the wrong information.
Our kids, we try to give them the best version of life, that better life than we had. But what we tend to do is we tend to rob them of the good hard work that we had to go through to get it, right? Because we want them to not struggle. We don't want them to suffer. And if they just think that life is just rainbows and sunshine, and when we send them out there in the world, they're like, oh, crap,
everybody gonna probably say
there's
something.
like demons out here trying to kill me. Why don't you tell me about that? Why don't you give me something to prepare me for this? That's setting them up for failure, right? We have to give them the best from our past with the present.
Yeah, that's the only way to improve, to be honest, is to really overcome challenges, right? Because when they go to the next step, that's how they get better, right? That doesn't mean you can't be nice and show them a more gentler way, but you have to let them struggle, right?
Let them fail.
I would rather have them make mistakes now than like later as a 20-something-year-old, a 30-something-year-old.
When the consequences are real.
I didn't grow up with
Oh,
a
man.
father, and I didn't know my father. I just found out who he was last year, and he died 4 years ago at the age of 92. And I didn't get a chance to know him. And more than anything, you know, growing up, somebody who's had multiple sexual abusers and wanting safety. With my kids, I had to learn the hard way. With my children, especially as multiracial ethnic kids, number one, as their father being an African-American male, and them seeing images and hearing stories of kids being shot on the street or people being killed. Like, my children have never seen a gun before in real life, but my daughter is afraid that somebody's going to come and shoot up their school. We live in Chicago. We live in an urban space. And one of my sons has already gotten jumped. He got jumped at 7 years old.
Damn.
And we are the parents that don't allow our kids to go anywhere. We are the ones, no, you cannot spend the night over anybody's house, right? But it happened. And as a parent, I've had to step in.
Damn.
And one of the hardest things, but the most rewarding experiences, is walking with them, seeing them struggles, but knowing that they don't have to struggle by themselves.
I had to learn that
On me, though.
they're my
Facts,
kids,
though.
but
They ain't by themselves with that bit.
just
On
like
me.
I have my own journey. So I had to learn like how to let go. If we are constantly jumping in, they're never gonna learn. You're stunting their growth, and you're creating entitled kids sometimes.
When I heard hardship, I immediately thought of my childhood. And my dad and my brother did not play about me when I was a kid. When I was 3 years old, I was throwing a softball. I had a cannon of arm at 3 years old because my dad and my brothers had me out there every single day. I don't care if you're 3 years old. Like, you're gonna do your 10 little reps, and then we're gonna come back inside. Then you can do whatever you want. Then you can watch TV and play your little Minnie Mouse. And then as I got older, it just got more and more intense. Like, I was doing college workouts at 10, 11 years old. Why? Like, it
Bro,
was so that
her
my
ass
dad
be,
and my
I
brother
don't
could
know.
prepare me to be
Hearing her
verbally
talk
committed
be
to a
annoying
college
me
by the
now,
time I
bro.
was a freshman. And it's like, I'm not thinking about that. I didn't want to do it, but my dad and my brother knew that if you suck this shit up now, you're gonna be great later. And every college I could have wanted to go, I didn't end up going to college, by the way. I quit when I was 16, and it is what it is. When I became an adult and I would go to the gym, it was easy for me. It was easy for me to do hard things and just put my mind to it. I was homeless with my kids and I ate that up. Like, my mom kicked me out one too many times and I didn't agree with it. I didn't think that I deserved that. So I'm gonna eat it up. Like, I don't care. Like, I
What the
guarantee
fuck?
I'm gonna eat this
Yeah.
shit up and I'm gonna come out of
Her
it.
ass, I'm telling you what it is now. Her ass be playing the victim. She done made some poor decisions in her life. She can't take accountability for her actions. I don't even want to jump to no conclusions with her baby daddy situation because I don't want him to be that he done passed or some junk. So I hope that's not the case. He might be locked up. I don't know, but she definitely, and her ass just begging for attention on the internet and begging for help on the internet. She want to cry and get attention. I don't know. That's all the energy she giving off, bro. And I don't like to
That's
do this,
exactly what I
but
did in 2 months. When you start them at a young age and you're constantly on them, whether it's hard or not, whether it's teaching them about the future or just making them do things like 10 simple reps until you can go. And if I got a smart attitude or if I talked back, okay, go run a lap around the whole entire field. That was my discipline. That was my like punishment. And I do the same thing with my kids now. And it's like, it works. I'm not gonna lie, it works. From the time that we moved into our house and we left those.
1 second, y'all.
And hearing stories, we live in Chicago, knowing that they don't have to struggle by.
They ain't by themselves with that. I had. My fault, y'all. I had to see what that
hotels,
was
I
about.
immediately started implementing like, okay, you do this. Every day when we get home from school, they put their clothes in the hamper, their shoes in the closet, their backpacks, they hang them up. It's muscle memory to them now. I don't have to continuously tell them, why are their shoes all over my house? Like, let's pick them up and put them where they belong. They just go and do it.
I think there's a difference between responsibility, teaching your kids responsibility and discipline and the roles that they play in the house, and keeping them from hardship. And maybe depending upon where we're all from, how we interpret the word hardship looks drastically different. You know, for my kids, you know, I work in Chicago on one of the worst neighborhoods in the city. There's kids there that they interact with whose parents are on drugs, whose parents are nowhere in their life. And so my kids are exposed to that type of, you know, hardship. Now, they're not going through it, but they are connected to kids who are. And it does teach them humility. It does teach them gratitude.
And be appreciative.
And be appreciative of the hard work
that you're doing.
Yeah. So.
Okay. I disagree because my parents did their best to protect me from hardship. I struggled with discipline from a pretty early age. Even my dentist has been calling me the boss since I was 3 or 4 years old. And if you ask anybody in my family, like, I've always had a very authoritative, go-getter personality. You know, I raised hell in my house. I thought I could tell everybody in my house what to do, but I learned over time through strict family values, through sitting down at dinner. I had pretty strict parents. They were fun. They occasionally let me go out, but it was always bring people over to the house. There was no leaving the house. You know, they didn't try to change me, but they created boundaries within who I was to create the home.
No, your version of sheltered, I agree with. Keeping people away, keeping bad ideas out of the house. I totally agree with that.
And bad ideas lingered in. I sought out kids at school who were struggling. I always wanted to be the person who was friends with the kids who were struggling. I still saw hardship. I still saw challenges. I still had to work through difficulties, but my parents did their best to create a space for me where I didn't have to struggle, or if they were struggling, they tried their best to be expressive and open about it. My dad worked all day. I had to take the bus home. My dad didn't come home till 7 p.m. because he was working. So my brother and I would have to, make our after-school snack. That's something I'd see kids bring their lunches. We ate school lunch. That was just our reality. And I was grateful for it because at least I had food on my plate. It was hard. The girls at school would sit there at the table and they'd all eat their little lunches together. And those girls didn't want to sit with me because I was getting the chicken sandwich from the line and I had to wait around the cafeteria.
But what I will say is Okay, obviously she ain't come from the hood or anything. Obviously, you see? So with her point, it's that her hardship is different. Her hardship was her dad probably living in an area where it's a lot of rich people, but he probably the brokest nigga in the rich area. And you know what I'm saying? He couldn't afford to spend the time to make him lunch, or I don't know what if a mama had the time or the resources or what it was, but it's a reason why they was on school lunch and everybody else was eating lunch, because everybody was on school lunch. Well, everybody was eating what the school gave us. So obviously me and her situation different, because that's just like my girl. Actually, my girl, they gotta pay for school lunch up here. Shit, we wasn't paying for no school lunch where I was at. You feel me? So the whole point is her hardship just was different. But she still went through hardship, and I'm sure it's different examples that she could bring up that I could explain to why that's a hardship. It's just a different transition. I could correlate it to something that we probably go through in the hood or some shit.
But like, I had a home to go to, and yeah.
With all due respect, that sounds like privilege to me.
It's not. I understand what you're saying.
And I get it. And I don't want to be disrespectful or dismissive. I remember, even for myself growing up, not being able to eat school lunch because we just didn't have the money for it. Even with my own children, when it's a pretty tight month, right, and we are trying to figure out in a 2-parent household that makes a great money, where it's not what it's not always there, and then like we have to figure it out, and then to be with children and to work with kids and to parent kids as well, where there is no home to go to, there is no parent in the household. There, this is very real for a lot of people, and so hardship is inevitable.
That was me. I was homeless until I was 4 years old. I think that built me into the person I am today, honestly, that hardship that I went through.
So you 2 years old, remember you being homeless? I can see you getting 3-4 years old and you remember probably little bits and pieces of you being homeless. Memories. Faint memories, probably no more than 10. But 2, you don't remember shit. So how that shaped you to be who you is when you weren't even remembering that half of it?
And
Niggas just
I
be
look
talking
back at it,
sometimes.
I'm grateful for it in ways. And I don't want my kids to be sheltered from things like that. That can be a reality for people.
The level of hardship that you as an individual experience is, it's the luck of the draw sometimes, right? We didn't get chosen to be born however we were or wherever we were. But I think it's like the way that we choose to talk to our children about the things that are happening around us. One thing that I've been thinking about this whole time is that my mom was a refugee. She came from Cambodia during the war there, and she came to this country and she went through some traumatic stuff. Like, I can't even imagine. And it's still, there's this generational trauma that I still feel internally, even though I lived a really privileged life compared to her. We went back to Cambodia. We showed, there's just such a level of poverty and such a different life there. And we did our best to, in an age appropriate way, show our children like where she came from and tell her, there was this documentary that talked about the war briefly. And I didn't say, oh, don't look at that. Like, that's okay. You don't have to think about it. Like, you tell them at a 5-year-old level, what is war? Why is it wrong? Talking to them about how to deal with that struggle is setting them up for success in the future.
Yeah, and one thing I want to say, because Rachel, the way you went through, the way that how you interpret it, it could equate to what I went through growing up in my time, right? Like how I like my upbringing, how the struggle or hardship felt for me could have been different for you, but it could still have impacted you the same way. So I don't
he said what I said earlier.
Diminish or push off what your experience was.
Great way to put that in. See, he got just enough estrogen and testosterone. It's not too much. My fault, bro. You cool people for sure.
I want to say that there's subjective. It's on levels, right? 2 people could grow up in the same neighborhood, under the same context, under the same, social bubble, and experience it differently, right? There's no answer for that. It's just the way that these people develop it and process it could be different. So how one is processing their environment determines the level of hardship that impacts them,
I could agree.
Contribute
He shot
financially
middle ground, nigga. Okay, my boy. He shot that bit. Oh, no cap.
to the household once they're
Okay, J-Rod. Wait, children should contribute financially to the household once they're teenagers. Them two say that?
So it's not that I need my children to contribute financially once they're teenagers. I'm trying to teach them the value of money and a work ethic. And I want to teach them how to balance a checkbook.
See, I don't agree with this because, like, my girl don't gotta take care of most of the bills. I take care of most of the bills. I think she's just recently paid the what you call it. Ooh, but yeah, like I try to take care of most of the bills for the most part, and as things continue to grow and grow and grow, like I'll be taking care of all the bills and stuff. And if anything, I have my girl in charge of one of my businesses in the future on some shit. Have my son, but I don't know why I'm saying all this extra shit. But I wanna I'm gonna implement financial literacy to my son at a young age through Monopoly money, and there's different other ways I want to go about it, about teaching him. Even his money, he got cash, he got digital money, he got money in stocks. That nigga got cash savings. Come on, that man got it. That boy got it for real. But it's ways we gonna be able to, you know what I'm saying, teach him. So, but he won't have to do that. Hopefully, shit, at 13, he might then be having a money already ready to buy a crib. Or I might buy that bit for him and then put it in my name. Then once he old enough, put it in his name. Woo.
Than I learned how to balance the check. No, I still use the checkbook. I don't even trust the app no more. But they're gonna be out there on their own, and they're gonna be expected to know this stuff. When I was growing up in school, they did not teach us how to balance the book.
My children now, at their age, they have the Greenlight app, which they can earn money. Like I make my children even now to earn money. I want them to appreciate and know what it means to work for money, to learn the value of money so that they can spend it responsibly. I was never taught financial responsibility. And so at 35, student loan debt and money management and buying a house and all of the other little things that I never learned it. And I had to learn it the hard way. And at 35, I'm now trying to undo some of the stuff.
Like, I'm trying to unlearn it or trying to pay off these mistakes that you did that are costly. And you're like, I want them to avoid this. If I teach them wise money management
financial responsibility.
Yes.
I feel that though.
So I don't agree that they should contribute to my household. I do agree that they need to learn how to manage their money. I don't think kids should be paying for their parents' bills because I feel like that hinders them down the line.
100%. It's our job to provide for them.
Yes.
We should be teaching men to be providers for the families that they're.
Hey, they just came and got on ass, boy. What the world? What in the world? I ain't expect that, though. Like, I ain't even expect me to be laughing this hard. What the fuck? Boy, that was a good ass reaction, boy. What the fuck? They just came and got on ass that quick. It was like, I don't think, that's our responsibility. I agree, that's our responsibility. Then she said, I think men should be providers. And then that's what I paused it on too. What the fuck, boy? That was crazy. That's one of them right there. They just got on ass, but that's real though. That like I'm saying that as man, and then it was the two men that came up. Like, hey, why you want to use that as an example? And I'm sure they got money. I'm assuming they content creators and stuff. I'm sure they money probably decent. He said he got debt and shit, so his money probably not too decent. If he got student loan debt, he's still taking care of, and he's trying to undo different things. His money probably ain't too crazy, but he probably straight enough. Then they got a chain on and shit, but I don't know. I ain't trying to pocket watch or nothing. I'm just saying, like, it was the two niggas, and it's like, nah, man, as a man, shit, this, you know what I'm saying? All this, I'm taking care of type shit. But he gonna learn how to do financial literacy for sure. They got on the ass, bitch.
We're gonna create and not to keep the money circulating within the family system.
All these electronic devices in our pockets, right? They're about like $1,000 a pop, right? Mm-hmm. If your child doesn't know the value of $1,000 and they just keep on breaking the phone because they think that you could just, well, mom will give me a new one, right? Then they don't understand the value of this thing.
Well, mom's not getting him a new one.
But mom,
no.
You know what I'm saying?
It would be a no.
Yeah, if you break your phone, there's no phone.
There's a level of, they need to understand that money is costly. You know, you have to earn it.
100%.
And if like what I did with, like I said, my son's cell phone was only $40 extra a month on my bill. It wasn't a
Wait, let me see.
Parents' bills. I feel like that hint.
Like, use that as an example, and I'm sure they got money. I'm assuming they got.
Paying for their.
Hey, why you want to treat like use that as an example? And I'm sure they got money. I'm not.
For their
I'm
parents'
just-
bills. I feel like that hinders them down the line.
100%. Like, it's our job to provide for them.
Yes,
We should be teaching men to be providers for the families that
down the line.
be providers for the family.
Yes.
We should be teaching men to be providers for the families that they're.
big deal for me. It wasn't gonna make me or break my bill, but I wanted him. He wanted to have this privilege.
Hey,
It
they
was-
just
it
came
was
and
not a
got on
necessity.
ass,
So
boy.
he wanted
What
to
the
pay
world? What
attention.
in the world? I ain't
I agree with
expect that. No, like, I
think
ain't even expect.
I think household contribute to the
hard.
household.
What
Like
the?
paying rent, paying for electric bills. You know, like yes, they use those share of those things, but those are necessities, like you said.
Mhm.
Anything that they want, they have to pay for it themselves. And like when they hit the age, whatever minimum age it is to work in California, they're gonna go out and find a retail job, a food service job, fill out those applications and find a job. It's gonna be required. You can keep all the money, but you have to learn. You know, even if they're entrepreneurial, they can still do that. But I want them to understand what that minimum wage looks like.
There are parents that make their kids work and pay an actual bill.
Yes, there are some parents that do need that.
I don't have to do that, and that my children won't have to succumb to that. And I think that is a privilege through the hard work that I've had and the education that I've built. But there are some people in America and around the world, like their kids have to work in order for the household to make it. That's very unfortunate. Like sometimes parents, they just need the help.
I'm worried that my child's digital footprint.
He's speaking
will
for them
negatively
ones in
impact their
Chicago,
future.
boy.
And
Shout
agree
out.
a step
He
forward.
said, "Shout out Chicago, man. I'm speaking for y'all."
I'm thinking of
Oh,
like whenever
shit.
they're
My
older
fault.
and they start posting on.
Might be tripping sometimes. I'm worried my child's digital footprint will negatively impact their future. Let me hear. I really don't even got an answer too much to this. What's the next one? Children.
Negatively impact their future. And agree a step forward.
I'm a disagree.
I'm thinking of like whenever they're older and they start posting on their own. Like right now, they are not allowed to have TikTok. They're not allowed to have any type of social media. Just because when I did allow her to have it, the stuff that she was engaging with, posting, I immediately was like, no, you're not wise enough to know like this is wrong. I think as a parent, you should be trying to guide them to not make mistakes that could really affect them down the line.
Anyone and everyone should be worried about their digital footprint, right? There are definitely things I did when I was younger, but I didn't understand social media, and I got a
Me
phone in
too.
middle school, so I
Yeah.
did some dumb things. And there are times I do worry about my daughter's footprint. Her mother did social media with her for a while. You know, they did videos, and I don't think they were ever necessarily harmful, but it has kept me up thinking, okay, well, this video's out there of her, right? She was doing this, doing that, and I don't think it's bad necessarily, but you know, can the affiliation with, you know, something that our mom does come back to affect her, something that I do? I think that it is, you know, we have to be cognizant of that because the internet is a very dangerous place,
Yes.
and they need to know that things are forever, especially now.
So I step forward because social media is a scary thing, and kids will be kids, and they're not very wise. And you know, me as a kid, being from Gen Z, we were at the forefront of that. You know, we were
Ruthless on
we
the
were
internet.
we were the brain rot of the internet. We posted whatever, and nowadays a lot of
We
that's coming
started
back
this.
to bite us in the butts. You know,
Right.
me as a dad posting my kids, I post nothing that will ever come back to bite them in the butt. I do worry that, you know, maybe they'll become too famous and won't like it. That's less of a negative, I'd say, because then they're going to have a lot more career opportunities in the future.
I think it's a slippery slope. I personally remember growing up and the digital footprint that I personally have made, if found by, you know, potential employers, by, you know, people in legal positions, like I genuinely, like, you know, like kids could get in trouble. Like I was a victim of cyberbullying in middle school. Kids used to tell each other to kill themselves. Girls in high school used to post inappropriate pictures on the internet. Kids do it all the time. Like maybe like if you're a parent who
Yeah, it
has
happens
restrictions on your
24/7.
kid's phone, like which I, you know, like kids can make secret accounts. Kids can talk in private. There's ways for people to communicate in ways that the parents are not seeing up front. And like, there's a lot of really like bad things like I remember like seeing as a kid.
Some of the things I said online when I was younger will probably get me canceled now.
And that puts you at risk, you know?
I
Like,
hear my son, so I think that might be it. What I will say is, though, this isn't something you should be worried about. When you worry about something, there's more of a likeliness for you to actually have that come into your reality, because now it's in your brain and your subconscious mind picking that up. That's just gonna be my last thing to say with that. Things gonna happen. Life is gonna happen. Life is life. The world is hectic. Shit gonna happen. The thing is preparing your kid and giving them the wisdom, knowledge, and allowing them to be open enough to at least be a part of the experience, just in case they do go through some hectic shit. You feel me? But that's it. I'm thinking I hear my son, so I'm finna get off and then go lay down and shit. And I mean, that was pretty good reaction. It wasn't as it was a lot. It's a lot of middle ground for the most part. Her ass was annoying me a little bit. He was saying some good shit. I like some shit he said. I like some shit she said too. She was smooth. You could tell she was privileged though. He stay in Chicago. He probably from the hood or came from a low poverty area and trying to, you know what I'm saying, get right and shit. He had a hectic situation, changed his situation for the better, and trying to do smooth, do good and shit. Everybody do wrong on this panel though. Everybody in the world do wrong. That's just the world. And ain't none of these people perfect, just like ain't nobody else perfect, you feel me? But hey, y'all stay smooth, stay good, Gucci. Appreciate you, God. Appreciate you, Moha. All smooth love. Y'all have a good night.